One of the things that I think is really interesting about Jesus' letters to the churches in Revelation is that when Jesus looks at the churches, he sees right into the heart, and so he sees things that are different than what we might see just looking at appearances. For example, when you look at the church in Smyrna, by appearances you see this small group of people who are being persecuted, they're being slandered, they seem to be in a very weak position. But God looks at them, and what he sees is people he says are rich. In fact, he has a crown prepared for them, because even in the midst of the persecution that they are facing, they are standing firm and they are not turning back. And that's the main thing Jesus has to say. In fact, this is one of two churches that Jesus has nothing negative to say about. He simply commends them for their faithfulness and warns them about what is to come and reassures them that what he has in store for them is more than worth it, right? That they should continue trusting him even in the midst of that trial. Now, the other church we look at this week, Pergamum, is in many ways in a similar situation. There also seem to be a small group. They're in a city, by the way, that is one of the centers within that region for the worship of the emperor. And this is one of the main things that was leading to the persecution of the church. Emperors want people to bow down to them, and Christians will bow only to Jesus. And so that creates conflict. So if you're living in the city that's kind of the regional hub of where people go to worship the emperor, the conflict is going to be particularly intense. And that's why I think that Jesus actually refers to this as Satan's throne, the place where they're living, because it's a center of this idol worship of the emperor that's going on. And like the church in Smyrna, they're persevering and they're commended for that, but they're also corrected about something. And I think it's an issue having to do in some ways with unity. Not everyone, but some among them are falling into heresies. They're pursuing sexual immorality or idolatry. There's things going on that are a threat from within. And I think Jesus is wanting to warn them, it's not enough to be aware of those threats from the outside, from those who are persecuting you. You also have to be aware of the threats that are coming at you from within your own people. So here are three things I think would be great to talk about with your connection groups. The first one is this: how attached are we to our money, to our possessions, to our reputation, to our comfort? In other words, take time as a group to really imagine what it would be like to experience that kind of persecution. I mean, have people talk about, soldiers rummaging through your house and taking stuff away, or taking family members away in the middle of the night. What it would be like to live with that type of experience. And as we think about the different things that we are attached to, we realize that all of those are going to be temptations to turn away from the worship of the true God. And we can use this as an opportunity to ask God to help us hold those things loosely. As he blesses us with things, we can enjoy them, but not to grasp onto them in a way that would lead us away from Christ, right? That our deepest attachment has always got to be on Jesus Christ and him alone. I think second, and related to that, this is a great week to talk about the persecution of the church. As we spend time imagining what it's like for our brothers and sisters around the world to experience these very things, that's the right kind of mindset to be in for praying for them. In fact, that's what Hebrews encourages us to do. Imagine that you are there with them in jail. Imagine that you are being punished along with them as you pray for them, because these really are your brothers and sisters. So pray for them like they're your brothers and sisters. And third, I think this is a great opportunity to talk about different threats in our own lives and in the life of our body, for how false teaching could creep up from within to either rationalize sexual immorality or rationalize idolatry, to pretend it's really not that big a deal. And how can we remain vigilant so that, as with the church of Smyrna and most of those at Pergamum, we keep our eyes fixed on Jesus and what he has in store for us, the crown of life and the salvation from judgment that he offers to all of those who persevere for his sake.